Verse number 15. وألقى في الأرض رواسي أن تميد بكم وأنهارا وسبلا لعلكم تهتدون. And it is Allah who has cast into the earth firmly set mountains, lest it shift with you, and made rivers and roads that you may be guided. So this verse talks about the mountains, and it shows one of the main function of mountains to maintain the stability of the earth. If there were no mountains, the earth will not be stable. It will tremble and shake and will have those earthquakes, and we will never be able to live on this earth. In other places we know from Quran that Allah gives the analogy of the pigs that fix the tent in the face of heavy wind blows. This again a rich material for science to explore the earth science and geology, to really explore and see how mountains contribute to this function that Allah mentions here, to maintain the stability on earth. And I'm not an expert in this subject, but there are researches that proves these things, especially in the concept of what they call isostasy, and how the crust of the earth has this fluid type of material, and the mountains role in stabilizing the earth. And there is no doubt that since Allah has said so, and He is the engineer of this whole universe, and if we have no doubt that the Quran contains the verbatim words of Allah without any alteration, and that He guaranteed this Quran from any kind of corruption or alteration, then there is no doubt that the mountain has this function. Now, what remains is a group of scientists in this field, inspired by this kind of inspiration from the Quran, go forth and start studying these things. And no doubt if they are objective in their search and they have enough technology to discover these things, no doubt they will come to this same conclusion. And if they don't come, it will be because of the lack of our contemporary science and technology. And maybe in future there might be a time when the scientific community in the field of earth science perhaps reach to a maturity level that enables them to really see this function of the mountains and its role in stabilizing. But nevertheless, mountains has other roles which Allah also alluded here. Just the next word here, وَأَنْهَارًا, and the rivers and the roads. So we know that mountain and river, they are coming together, and all the rivers they just flow from mountain tops, either by melting of the snow or maybe some rainfall that causes these rivers to flow. And rivers by themselves is yet another bounty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it's really amazing when you see these zigzag rivers cutting through thousands of miles through various lands and carrying with it the bounty for any place that they cross through. And you just ask the people of Egypt and they would tell you really how the Nile River had played a role in their life since the very early civilization. And no wonder that in the pre-Islamic cultures they used to sacrifice and to the river, thinking that if they don't do that, the river will not flow and they will all vanish. So their life was entwined with the flow of the Nile River, and I'm sure this is the case with many other places. And finally, the verse says, "وَسُبُلًا وَأَنْهَارًا وَسُبُلًا," and roads. And in the context of mountains, we know that mountains sometimes form some kind of a barrier between civilizations. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, out of His wisdom and mercy, He has again created those mountain passes whereby people can cross those heavy mountains through these passes. And if there were no passes, then these people would have been staying in isolation for eternity. But this is again Allah who has created these roads and passes so that civilizations can connect with each other and benefit from each other. So all these things are bounties and guidance. That's why the verse ended with لَعَلَّكُمْ تَهْتَدُونَ, so that you will be guided.